At last.
At last indeed. After an entire year spent waiting for our mains electric to be installed at the workshop, making do with the limitations of a very expensive to run petrol generator, stumbling around in the dark.
Give it a minute or two, maybe have a cup of tea.
Where have you gone? Can't see you!
Over here, where's the tea?
Could it be that this is the week we are finally able to bring you some good news?
I think we might have some electric.
It's taken us most of 2021 to dismantle the cab on this, our 1975 Bedford, former firetruck, overlanding house on wheels to be, and finish the restoration on the first part of this huge project we are undertaking. But it's looking good in the new paint. And in our last video, we were busy with the soundproofing and trying not to worry about the long winter stretching ahead.
And what else are we doing today?
But worry not, as this week we'll be shedding some light, pun intended, on our plans for the months ahead.
This is my homemade powder coating gun.
We are Lisa and Tim, and this is the story of us attempting to build the world's greatest adventure mobile on the world's smallest budget.
Cold, isn't it? It's freezing.
Hello and welcome back once again to the Old Rope Salvage Workshop. All being well with my editing this week, you should be watching this on Christmas Eve. So happy Christmas!
Oh, happy Christmas! Oh.
So we have been a little bit slow putting out the videos this last couple of weeks. That's partly because I wanted a little bit of a break from filming, but the reason I wanted a bit of a break from filming was because not a great deal has been happening as winter's set in. It's been getting really dark, really cold, and really difficult to get an awful lot of work done and a lot of filming done.
Many of the things that we've been doing kind of rely on a bit better temperatures and weather and a bit more light. So our epoxy paint and all those sort of 2-packs, they don't really like being less than 10 degrees. And yeah, we've basically been putting a few things into place that will allow us to do stuff, but more about that later.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Oh, hang around then. So in our last video, I think we were working on all the soundproofing, which since we put that video out, Tim has actually finished all the rest of the soundproofing because there was still a little bit left to do.
Yeah, my paper cuts are just about feeling out now.
Yeah. And also, you've done quite a lot of work on the ceiling as well.
Yeah, we've been getting ready to do the headlining and some stuff in the video today will show what I've done to prepare ready for the roof lining or the headlining.
Oh yeah, maybe just have a look at that now and
yeah, roll it now.
Right, we'll see you in a minute.
And they'll know what we're talking about.
See you in a minute.
Just me in the workshop today. It's very cold, pretty dark, still don't have electricity. So, but what am I doing? Well, we want to put a roof or headlining into the truck, but as it stands, there's nowhere to fix anything to. So the idea is to put some battens on the inside of the roof, so that what we're going to do with it, which we still absolutely don't know completely, we'll have at least somewhere to fix our roof headlining onto. So I've been taking some old plywood. This is bits of the old interior of our old van. It's all the stuff that I've got. Cutting some nice long 2-inch wide strips out of it, and then forming these to the inside of the curve of the roof. I've been using the kettle to steam the ends to allow it to bend a bit better. And once these are bent, steamed into place with a coating of some foaming Gorilla Glue, which is moisture curing so the steam doesn't affect it. It gets jammed in, clamped in, and then takes on the shape of the curve of the roof.
After cutting, steaming and gluing 2 of the pieces of ply together, Tim wedged the pieces into position on the ceiling of the cab, and once they were dried, those pieces took on the perfect shape needed to form the batten. After cleaning off the dried glue, a 3rd piece of ply was then steamed and glued into place. And the batten is once again wedged into place on the ceiling to dry.
So that's what I've been doing, and these are the 2 bits that I'm using. This is the front one and the rear one, slightly different curves on them. This one I've already cleaned up quite a bit, and this one's fresh out of the inside of the roof, so it's still got some gloopy glue on there. I'm going to now sand this down and make it a bit prettier, and then when that's all done, they're going to get a really good coatings of paint to sort of seal them in. So yeah, that's it really. This now fits perfectly into the inside of the roof, and because it fits so well, it's going to give a really good contact area for the glue, which we're going to use to actually glue these into place. And then I'm going to do the rest of the insulation, soundproofing around them, and it will leave these 2 areas which we can then screw our roof to. So yeah, this is 3 layers of this plywood, which is I think about 4mm thick, and it gives a really solid, strong piece to affix our roof to. Hopefully just about enough to get some screws into and fix it on. That's it really, just got to give these a bit more of a sand down and a paint job, and get them glued in. So that's what I've been working on in the freezing cold and wind.
Battens now lovingly, and not at all resentfully, sanded down by hand, Tim applied several coats of paint for rot prevention before installing them into the cab, where they now fit perfectly into place. Each batten was glued along the degreased ceiling ridges using Gorilla Grab adhesive. Oh, and about 400 old broom handles and sticks of wood.
That's good. That's really good. That's really stuck. I mean, good thing about these is because they were shaped exactly like the roof, because we made them in the roof, when it comes down to gluing it, there's a really good contact area, so the two surfaces are mating really good all the way across. And yeah, they're stuck. Hopefully they're thick enough to get some fixings into. I mean, well, these about 12mm thick, so it doesn't give us a lot of chance. But then the roof fixing to it can go in lots of places, so, and it's the best we can do really. The problem with doing this is we wanted to like keep as much headroom as possible. There was not a huge amount of head height between the seats when you're sitting in here, so we want to keep this so that it's low profile. Otherwise I would have made these thicker, but we'll see what we can do.
With the soundproofing finished and the battens in place and ready for the headlining to be installed, the only thing left to do was to put in the sheets of insulation. This was expensive stuff, so we were using it sparingly, mostly for the ceiling and for the large front panel. Cold and hot spots really. It was really tricky stuff to install, super sticky and unforgiving. Basically, as soon as it touched the surface, that was precisely where it was going to live until the end of time. There was some mild swearing during this time lapse, but it's in now and it looks pretty decent and will presumably do the job it was intended for.
So that's the where you've got to, isn't it?
Yep.
So
we're kind of already properly prepared now for the roof lining. This is going to be a bit of a strange one. We had loads of different ideas. Like I said before, one of them was a great idea, but was going to turn out to be costing us 600 quid. So we had a couple of little ideas. That our van's out of order, so we can't get big sheets of anything. So I've basically been looking around and I'm going to try and make a headlining out of the things we find lying every day. That sounds like the Wombles. This here, this chunk of wood, well, the plan is that this is going to be the headlining. It's going to be cut down into strips of just like 2 or 3mm thick. Hopefully the wood's nice. And we're going to do a little bit of experimentation, something I've never done, but this could be a bit of a precursor for stuff that might be happening later in the van. So thin slices of wood, some XPS foam, expanded extruded polystyrene foam that you'd normally find underneath your laminate flooring. Very, very thin stuff. Some epoxy resin and some fiberglass. The only thing is with this, due to the temperatures being so cold, this is something that's going to take over a kind of a longer space of time, because you can't do it all in one go. You've got to do it bit by bit by bit. So it's going to take a little while. So it might be a couple of videos before you see the finish of this.
So if you haven't already guessed, I think it's pretty obvious by now, the really big news this week for us is that we have finally got the electricity in place. Now, you might remember over the course of the last few months that this has been quite a big ongoing saga and quite a big deal for us in the year that we've been here. You might remember we've done quite a bit of moaning.
Is electricity, you know.
Electricity.
Without having electricity.
Is that because we don't have electricity?
Not only do we not have electricity.
And you've got no electricity. And you might remember that there's been quite a lot of hopes being raised.
I don't know if you can see, but they are lights. I think we might have some electric. I'm a little bit excited.
And hopes being dashed.
Now this is my disappointed face. The lights went off. I'm plunged into darkness yet again.
And we honestly kind of felt like we'd reached a point where perhaps we weren't ever going to get the electricity put in. So a couple of weeks ago it got switched on, but then nothing was actually working, and then I think you got the lights working and then the lights weren't working, and so it went on Anyway, it's in.
It's been a little bit of a, we've only had it going on for about a week now, but it's actually taken me it's a bit of a messes with your mind. I keep forgetting that there's electricity, so I'm getting stuff out and getting a file and filing, and I'm like, I don't need to do that. I've got tools. I can plug something in. And yeah, it's kind of weird. The other day I actually went around everything and just tried, plugged everything in and just tried it, went, oh yeah, like that. So yeah, and it's great. We've been had the opportunity, the compressor works fine, and I've actually got the oven ready for our powder coat, and that's kind of working good now, and it works on this power where it wasn't working on the generator. Yeah, it's amazing. It's quite a difference.
I want to show you just a little bit of what we've got now, that so you can see some of the difference. So come with me a minute. So we have actual plugs and everything that we can plug stuff into and use our actual power tools. It's so exciting. Look at this.
What is this?
So we've got sanding, and we've got buffing and polishing and stuff like that. And then we have over here. Oh, look at that. I'm so excited. Stuff. We've got stuff. We've got lamps. We've got a pillar drill. We've got another load of plugs. Look at this. It's a range of amenities. Look. Light. But there's only one thing that really matters. I think we all know what that is. So while the kettle's boiling, I'll just show you over here as well. Now we can turn the lights around and everything, so we're lit up over here, but I'm a little bit dark at the moment, although there is still light. We can close our big doors at last, which means that we can cut out a load of the traffic noise, keep the wind out, which is brilliant as well. So really pleased about that. We've got a beautiful big light over the comfort centre over there, and the shelves obviously. It's like Blackpool and Illuminations around here. Yeah, so that's the electricity in place finally. So with finally getting the electricity, and like we said, we were never really sure when we were going to get it. So it was very difficult making any kind of real plans, or we would make plans then we would have to change them. But now we can actually sort of really figure out what we're doing, but we still have the limitations of winter and the temperatures and everything. So we have been getting things into place these last couple of weeks. As I said before, Tim's been doing a load of ordering, trying to figure out what we need for some of the kind of quite fiddly stuff, I suppose, that we're doing, all the bits and pieces like the powder coating that we've talked about a little bit. So over the winter period we have plans to do all the things that perhaps we can do with the lower temperatures. So I know you've been getting that a little bit organised, haven't you? You've been buying a load of stuff.
So yeah, we've teased with a little bit of what we're going to be doing with the headlining, the roof lining, and yeah, the temperatures being cold means that we can't use a lot of our paints, and it's tricky. So we're looking at things that we can do in the cold temperatures and in the dark. So we've got a few things. One of them is we're going to be we're creating a new badge for the front of the truck, where there was the existing HCB Angus fire truck. We are using this as our inspiration to build a new badge for the front, using a piece of our old trawler, a bit of aluminium, which will be making up a new badge. So that's in a coming video, but also something I can do over Christmas and take home with me, some homework. What's this? This is a... Okay, alright, so this is the beginning. This is my homemade powder coating gun, and most of it is ready made. It's all made out of bits of junk, and all that's left now is to do some of the electrics for it. I had plans to do something and kind of changed our minds, so another thing we'll be doing over Christmas will be doing some soldering. Probably doing it at home. It's a bit warmer there, so we're going to be making up the electrics for that, and then that will be finally ready in the new year to get straight on with this. And like I said, the oven's working better now as this is going, and it means obviously it's stuff that we can do not relying on the temperature, so that's another thing will be coming up very soon. We shall definitely be doing powder coating. From the badge, making that up as well, that's also going to be leading into some of the other stuff that we need to do with plating things. So all our nuts and bolts and bits of metal, we wanted to do some nickel plating, maybe zinc plating, some anodizing. So they're all little things I've been trying to put into place so that we'll be able to get on with those. So yeah, coming up we have like loads of things. We're going to be cracking on with the truck. We're going to get the headlining done. We're going to finish off the interior of that. We're going to be doing some plating, some powder coating, more fixing. If the weather gets a little bit warmer, I've got loads of wings that are already needing paint.
Yeah.
We've got lots of more parts to sandblast. So yeah, we really want to get on with this.
You've still got those doors to weld up as well.
I have some doors to weld.
I keep reminding him of that, but he keeps ignoring me.
I've had no light. Now I've got light, I can work on them
no
again.
more excuses.
And shortly, yeah, we'll be taking the rest of the truck apart. On that note, I suppose
I guess that's it, really.
we should be wishing you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We haven't dressed up this year like we did last year.
That's the best gift for me.
Yeah, it's been a funny sort of year, I'm sure, for many of you, if not all of you out there. I mean, we've certainly had a mixed bag of a year, really, both personally and obviously with the work and everything. We just hope that you're all keeping safe, that you're all, looking forward to 2022 with renewed optimism and vigour, and hopefully the world will get to be a little bit of a better place as we go forward. And I just wish you all a very happy Christmas and New Year. Thank you all so much for supporting us and for your likes and your comments, and
Really love your comments.
we really appreciate it. We really do.
Thank you very much for that. It's very encouraging. We're making these videos. It's quite a lot of work. It's a lot of time and effort, and it is really nice sometimes. We know there's a few people out there who have been really supportive and it kind of makes us feel more like we want to make more videos.
Yeah.
Because we have had a few moments we've actually considered not making any more videos.
It's a lot of work.
But thank you very much for that, and happy Christmas
Take
and a
care
happy
of
New Year.
yourselves. Happy Christmas, happy New Year. We'll see you back here in 2022. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.